Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're taking a look today at another interesting gadget, this one from Plaud AI. This is their new NotePin, and the best way to describe this little thing is as a voice recorder that's relatively compact and wearable. And this links up with the Plaud app on your phone, and that app in turn links up with ChatGPT and a few other large language models to transcribe what it heard and then summarize whatever it recorded into something useful for meeting minutes or just an analysis of how your hour-long or more discussion went. It's an interesting concept, and we're going to take a closer look at how effective this device is here in just a second. But I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that Plaud AI provided this to the channel free of charge. However, no other compensation was received. They have not reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it was uploaded, and all the opinions you're about to hear are my own. So let's get into it now and see what this little recorder can do. Now, the price point on this comes in at $169. Additionally, there's a subscription plan that runs at the moment at $79 a year, and you can get a little more transcription time on that plan in addition to a few extra processing templates. But I found the free plan works pretty well without having to subscribe, and I'll show you what the free plan gets you in this video. Now, if you do opt for the Pro subscription plan on this, you get 1,200 minutes of transcription per month. That's about 20 hours. On the free plan, you get 300 minutes per month, or about 5 hours. And they base the minute usage on what you transcribe. So as you'll see in a minute on the app, you can decide not to transcribe something and just pull the audio file out. And there's a lot of great free tools out there now that do excellent transcription. One that I looked at recently is called Vibe, V-I-B-E, and it runs on Mac, Linux, and Windows, and it can transcribe as much as you want for free. So you could just use this as a recorder, pull the recording out, transcribe it on your own, and then save those minutes for the things that you want Plaud's service to process for you. And again, we'll go through all of that in a minute. Now, for the base price at the moment, you get the recorder itself. This has 64 gigabytes of storage, and they say it can record continuously for about 20 hours. All of the file management is handled automatically, so what happens is every time you load up the app and connect it to the device here, it'll download the file, mark it off as downloaded, so if the space fills up, it'll overwrite it and go to something else. But you can get tens of hours recorded on this, many times on a single charge. The charger here is pretty easy to operate. It's one of these little pogo pin deals here. So there's a magnet on the pin. It just snaps in, and then you plug this into a USB Type-C power source. They also have a number of accessory items that, at the moment, this comes with. One is a wearable bracelet, so you can wear it on your wrist. They have a little necklace attachment here, if I can get it out, that you can wear around your neck. They also have a clip here that you can use to clip it to a piece of clothing or whatever. And by default, it has one of these magnetic things that you can put underneath your clothes and seal it up, if you will, through your shirt. But I think the clip is a little bit easier to manage here. So lots of different ways to wear it, and it is very, very small, as you can see. Now, to start recording, what you have to do is just hold your finger down in the middle of the unit here. And when you do that, most of the time, it will give you a little bit of haptic feedback, a little bit of vibration, and then you'll see a very tiny red light here come on to indicate that it's recording. To stop recording, you hold it down, and that will, again, give you a little bit of a haptic alert to let you know that it's stopped. I did find that it's very hard to confirm that this thing is recording, especially when it's placed down on a desk, because the light is very, very tiny. It's very hard to see. So I would have liked the light to be a little bit brighter or have some other kind of feedback to let you know that the thing is still recording. But it does require you to really leave your finger on there for a good length of time before it stops or starts. So it's not something you'll accidentally set off, but it's often hard to find the right spot on here because it's not labeled. You have to kind of put it in the middle there. So that is how it works. I would suggest that if you are using this for recording things that you want to remember, it's probably best to do a separate recording for every meeting or phone call that you have, because it doesn't really delineate that in the recordings when they come back in. So that is the basic usage here, a pretty simple audio recorder. Let's take a look now at the app and see how everything gets processed. So here we are inside of the Plaud AI app, and what will happen here is that when you have your device connected to the app, it'll automatically download what it recorded. The download speed is rather slow on this in its default configuration because it uses Bluetooth to transfer. They do have a Wi-Fi mode that will allow you to connect to the pin directly using Wi-Fi to more quickly pass those files along. But I found in its default configuration, an hour-long meeting might take 5 or 10 minutes to transfer over to the phone, and you have to kind of leave the app up as it's doing that. Now, what I've got here is a recording that I made last night at one of my school board meetings. This is a public meeting, and it was already recorded by some other devices that we had in the room, so I'm not breaking any privacy here. And this is what you'll get initially. Now again, you don't have to transcribe this if you don't want to. So for example, if I just wanted to transfer the file out here, I could hit the share button and just download it to my computer or whatever. But in this case, we're going to go through the transcription process. So right now we've got the recording here. I can hit play, and what I'll do is just put the audio up on the system here because I was very impressed with how well it works. So let me shut up for a second here and play back what it's picking up from somebody across the room.
So we can get reimbursement from the state, and that's something that Arcadis has provided us a lot of support with. So I think this is a very...
So you can see that it actually does a pretty good job just as a microphone, and the room I was in was a rather large high school library. This was up front in the room with me, and the person that you just heard speaking was on the other side of the room. Granted, if there was a lot of crosstalk, it would be a whole different story, but I was very impressed that it was able to pick up somebody speaking so far away, and I think it should be able to transcribe that successfully. So now what we're going to do is just go over here to Transcript, and I'm going to tap on Generate. Now what's going to happen here is it's going to send this audio data up to ChatGPT for transcription and analysis. So I'm probably going to say this is not well suited for areas where you have to maintain privacy, like in medical or critical government applications. So limit this to non-life-threatening issues here, I think. But what's going to happen here, it's going to send that file up. It will label the speakers. I'll show you that process when it's done. And we'll get back not only a transcript, but an analysis. Let me click on Generate Now. And what it's going to do now is upload the audio file. The transcription will take a few minutes, and the time will vary based on the length of the recording. So what I'm going to do right now is let this transcribe. We'll come back when it's done, and you'll see what the output is. All right, so it is all done transcribing, and as you can see here, it's got the full transcript of what it heard here, which is good. And what I'm going to do now is go over to the Name Speakers section here, because what this will do is allow me to go through what we just recorded and assign names to all these people. The one issue I have with this is that it doesn't remember people's voices from one recording to the next. And one of the things that I think would be really helpful with this product is that if it could recognize my voice and at least get me registered on the list of speakers, because there is some tedious assignment of voices here every time you go through one of these processes. So what we're going to do is just take a look at what it picked up for different speakers. I'll put the audio back on here for a second, and I'm going to play back this portion here so I can...
a good representation, basically. A lot of our services...
Okay, so I know who that is, so I'm going to put in the name of the person that was speaking there, and then I'll go over here and play this back. We'll call the meeting to order at 5:02. We actually made really good time. I'm going to put my name in here, and you can see how that goes as far as that assignment is concerned. And then as it detects that voice, it'll continually add that to the mix. The one issue, though, is that sometimes it thinks somebody, if they're farther away, might be a different person. So this is not an exact science here. A lot of the limitations you run into with all of these AI tools we've been playing with insofar as speaker identification is going to be an issue here, but you get the idea as to how that works, and you have some ability to edit this as you go. You can also go to specific parts of the meeting and play back those parts from the transcript. Now over here is the summary, and this is really cool. Now I'm going to change this in a minute because I selected call and not meeting, but I found that it was very accurate in recording all the major events of the meeting. So for example, at the beginning, we had some pretty big business items to do. This is a construction project at one of our buildings. We had to approve an invoice. We had to make some changes to some consulting We also had a big topic on moving some boxes around the building, and then it came up with a bunch of things for what's happening next. Now, it didn't get it totally right. So, for example, this invoice was approved in the meeting. It's not going to have to happen at the next one. But a lot of what it captured here really pretty closely is tied to what was discussed here, which is kind of what you want from this. But as you saw, I have this as a call and not a meeting insofar as the template that I chose. So if I go over here to these periods up here, I can have it re-summarize this. Now, I'm not going to get dinged on my minutes per month here if I just re-summarize versus retranscribe. So I'm going to go to re-summarize here. And this is where you've got some of these templates. Now, there are some templates here like task assignments and reports and other things that require the Pro account. But what I'm going to do is just select their autopilot, which should automatically figure out what happened here. So if I click on Generate Now, it's going to go back through that transcript and give me a better format for the type of recording that I made here. Now, depending on how busy ChatGPT's servers are, it'll take a little bit of time for that summary to get regenerated, but now it is done. And if we go back through here, you can see now that we have this set as a meeting, and it, I think, really does a good job here of capturing this stuff. Now, really what you're paying for here are some prompts that get this down correctly from the transcript. So this is something you could definitely do with ChatGPT on your own. But if you're someone that wants something done quickly and simply without having to know all the prompt engineering that goes into generating something like this, this might be useful for some folks. So here's one type of summary. I can go back in, of course, and change it to something else. Additionally, they have a mind map here. This one I did not find as useful. But if you have a type of meeting where you're going down some rabbit holes, this might be able to capture that for you. But I think the combination of the transcript and the summary are pretty useful here. And again, I'm really impressed with how well it captured everything, especially given the fact that this was a large room and a lot of people, as you heard, were pretty low on the microphone. But it gives you a good idea as to how effective these AI-based transcription and summary applications are. Now, if you have audio from other sources, you can have the Plaud app process that too. So all you have to do here is hit the plus button on the main interface. You can record on your phone directly, or you can import audio from another source. And I did import an audio file from one of our meeting owls that we have at our Board of Ed meetings, and it was able to work with that file without issue as well. So pretty simple to navigate around here. All of this data, though, lives only on your phone unless you enable their private cloud option. Although it's private to you, perhaps, it's still going to somebody else's data server. But by default, this feature is off. If you turn it on, what will happen is your phone will sync up with other devices on your account along with a web interface that they have. So if you have an iPad and a phone, you could sync the two up that way. So that'll do it for the Plaud AI NotePin. There really isn't anything groundbreaking here. In fact, the hardware really is just a recorder. There's no AI inside of this device. But I think the value proposition here is that they've simplified the end-to-end solution where you record, you go to the app, it grabs the file, it makes the transcript, it does the summary, and you don't have to really futz around with files or thinking about anything. And on the free plan, if you're only doing 5 hours or less per month, you can get by without having to pay the subscription. One word of caution, though, I've seen with companies that offer a lot of value on their initial server-side application is that when many people find that the free subscription is enough, the company finds itself unable to support all of the free users that they have. So although what you saw today doesn't require a subscription, it doesn't mean in the future that that might change. So just keep that in mind. That said, I did find their pro-level subscription, which provides 20 hours of transcription per month, would actually cost you less than a subscription to ChatGPT or Google Gemini if all you're doing is meeting minutes. But again, you can do this yourself if you want, just by recording an audio file on your phone, transcribing it, and having one of these AI models do the summary for you. So all in, a pretty convenient little device here if you're looking for simplicity, and I do like how small and wearable it is. That'll do it for this one. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.